Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So as was requested in my recent chocolatey eye makeup tutorial, I'm talking only and all about lashes today. So I had a recent experience with lash extensions, and one of my conclusions from it was that I just really like the way half falsies look on me, and they definitely achieve it really easily and cheaply, and for me very quickly as well, because I feel like I've just kind of got it down pat. It's such an easy process for me. I can do it before I've had my morning coffee, and I often do wear them during the day if I feel like a little bit more of a dramatic look while still having very natural makeup. So the makeup you see on me today and in that makeup tutorial is very representative of my style and what I like. I don't like dramatic makeup or very colorful makeup. BB, really. Are you taking over? Come on. And I think it's actually a common misconception that if you wear false lashes, especially the half false lashes I'm going to show you how to do today, that then you end up with a very dramatic look. To me, what they really do is elongate the shape of my eye and open them up quite a bit as well. And then how dramatic it looks really depends on which pair I choose. So I'm going to show you all my top favorites for different types of looks, and then I'm going to show you exactly how I apply them step by step. We're going to do it together, and then you will know all my false lash secrets. So for my favorite pairs, we're going to go from most dramatic to least dramatic. One of my favorite really dramatic pairs, which I will still cut in half, is from the Sephora Silk Lashes line. So these are definitely a little bit more premium, but I like them even more than the ones from MAC or Shuamura because they're really soft and pliable. So even though they're very long and very thick, you can see, they're still very soft because of the silk in them, so they feel like natural hair, and they're not too heavy and stiff as well, because I find that a lot of more dramatic lashes tend to be more stiff. Strips like this would be way too long and ridiculous on me if I wore the whole thing. So I would at least trim off about 1/3 of the strip. But what I tend to do instead is to just cut them in half and use 1/2 on each eye. And that means that I get double the value, so I can go for a bit more of a premium lash. I can still rewear them, and it just works out so well for me. And I just put them back in the case once I'm done with them, or like evening events or something like that. Or I've also been really enjoying Sophie's lashes. So Sophie Showhead is a YouTuber, and she has her own line of premium lashes. So these are also silk. They are the Luxe lashes from her line. I love the little box that they come in. It's much easier to use than the Sephora box, which is way more fiddly. See that I've already worn one of the lashes, cut it into two, and then I tend to stick the two halves back together and put it back in the box for safekeeping, and so they stay clean and free of dust. And then the next time I wear them, all I have to do is pick off some of the excess glue and just go ahead and wear them again, as I'll show you the steps for one. So what I like about these is that they're really high quality, so even after wearing them several times, you can't really see them go ratty, and the band is still really pristine and whole, and it doesn't fray. I've been really enjoying Sophie's line ever since she relaunched it, or I became aware of its relaunch. I purchased a big order. I've been really enjoying this line. Then for the slightly less dramatic and lashes that I would kind of wear to work, wear during the daytime, I really like these Kiss lashes, and these are the ones we're going to use today. This looks so natural line, light and soft as a feather, and really the only ones I like are the ones that are called Shy. I really like how the ends of these are very thin, so they're thicker where they start at the band, and then they get quite thin and flared out, and the way the hair is arranged kind of flares out, so it looks really natural. So it says that it has tapered ends to the lashes, and I can definitely see that. So I've been really enjoying this line. The other ones that I wore for years that you guys have maybe unconsciously seen on me in like hundreds of videos are the Ardell 110s. They are very similar to this. They are just very slightly less dramatic, a little bit less dense, but these ones are very, very similar, but I really like the feel of them. Fortunately, I don't have any 110s to show you right now because my local drugstore was out of stock. And then finally, for beginners, which many of you have told me that you are, if you've kind of never thought that this could work for you, try Japanese lashes. So I have a Japanese beauty store in downtown Vancouver, but we'll link all of my favorite Japanese lashes down below. They tend to come in these big packs as well, which is super affordable. The Flattering nude line from G and Gary. It's kind of one of the ones that I buy the most often. And what's so neat about these is that the band is so thin, it's almost invisible. So even if you screw up the placement of it, you still really won't be able to see it at all. There's not too many lashes on each one, but they still have like a nice flare that will emphasize your eyes once you have them on. I just really think that the half strips are most flattering on my eye shape at least, and they're a lot easier to apply. It's much, much harder to get the inner eye corners looking right with false lashes, and it's also where they tend to get unstuck as well as the day goes on. So I don't really see myself ever changing that. All I do is essentially switch up how dramatic the lash I'm buying is and then still cut them in half. Okay, so the only part of the process that I really use tweezers for is at the very beginning to pry them out of the package. So one of the things I like about Sophie's lashes is she doesn't stick them on too hard. A lot of brands really use quite a strong adhesive to attach it to the packaging. Another one of my tips, I'm just going to tell them to you as I go along. I really, really don't like lashes that are pre-glued. So I feel like for a while, and this trend has kind of died now, a lot of the lashes that were on the market, especially at the drugstore, already had glue on them. And that makes them essentially impossible to reuse. It's really hard to pick off that glue. It's not like the Duo Lash adhesive. That is a must have. Number one tip from this whole video, this is the only lash adhesive that I will use, and if I do not have this, I will not wear false lashes because it's stretchy, so it moves with your eye throughout the day, and that means that it won't come unstuck. They have never ever come undone, and it does come in black now. There's a number of varieties. There's also a green one that's for sensitive eyes, I think, and there's one with a brush. I don't like the brush one. I like the ones in the tube, and I still like the original clear. So then you take your strip, and all you're going to do is take some small nail scissors and go ahead and snip it in two. Please don't leave me any comments that this is like not professional and not how professionals do it. I'm well aware of that. This is just what works for me, and you guys asked, so I'm showing you. So what I do is put a little dab of glue on the end of a brush, and obviously you want to make sure it's a clean brush. I definitely prefer doing this than going straight from the tube. Sometimes when I'm in a hurry, I will do the glue straight from the tube, but I definitely think this is much easier to get an even, thin layer of glue right where the band is. And make sure that you're applying it on the underside of the band, not the overside of the band, because otherwise your glue will show more. And this dries pretty clear, so it's not a huge deal, but again, the more natural they can look, the better, right? So you just apply it at the undersides, and then I always do a little dab of glue at either end. You've got your two bands here, your two halves, but if you're a beginner, I definitely recommend you do one at a time with the glue. That way you're going to give yourself a lot more time before your glue dries, and then your second half is no longer tacky. So something else that I think is slightly different between how a professional would do it and how I do it, I've read a lot of tips where professional makeup artists essentially wait until the glue is like almost completely dry. You definitely want to wait about 30 seconds, but I think it's nicer if you still have a little bit of playtime before the glue is dry so that you can adjust it. So I still will apply it while the glue is still like reasonably wet, and I can just start to see it going clear along some of the lash lines. So all you're going to do is close your eye almost fully and just drop it. And I'm going to do the other side as well. And just drop it. You're just going to go ahead and using your fingers, or you can use tweezers if that's your preference, but I have much better dexterity using my fingers and my nails than using tweezers. I also don't love having tweezers that close to my eye. You're just going to go ahead and wiggle the lash strip closer to where your natural lash line is, and just gently push it in. And also, I like to press the lashes against my own lashes. You can see as well, obviously, my makeup is fully done. I have 2 light coats of mascara. So there's not much left to be done. We're just going to do a little touch up at the very end. But you do want to have your mascara already on so that it looks like you would want it to normally. If you're going to do both sides at once like I do, make sure you do the other side too before your glue is completely dry and then you're no longer able to adjust. Some more important tips would be to make sure that you don't place it too far out. You don't want your lash strip to end right at the very, very furthest part that it could. It's going to look more natural if you have just a teeny tiny gap. Okay, so I've waited about another 30 seconds. The glue is now fully dry. So the next step, and this is again really, really helpful for beginners, but I still do it as well because it just gives me peace of mind that everything is blended together. And even when my eyes are closed or under really harsh office lighting, you're not going to be able to see little patches of glue or little clumps of glue that I might have clumsily left. And everything just kind of blends seamlessly together. So you're going to take your eyeliner pen and you're just going to go over your eyeliner once more. And what that does as well, it makes sure that the texture and finish of the band matches your eyeliner. And then the mascara step is super important too. And again, this is important because it will help to conceal any kind of messiness that's been created. But even if you have no messiness and you've done a good job, it will also match the finish. This is especially important if you're using a kind of lesser quality lash. They tend to be more shiny and have more of a plasticky kind of finish, whereas premium lashes will have more of a matte hair-like finish. I definitely notice like a weird shine coming from a lot of drugstore lashes, and I really don't care about that. I think these Kiss ones are actually not bad. Like the finish on them is very natural and pretty matte, but it's still not going to look exactly like my mascara, so like my natural lashes. So you're just going to use whatever mascara you're using. I'm using Dior Show right now and loving it. And you're just going to go ahead and apply one more coat of mascara. And you kind of want to wiggle that brush, especially at the outer eye corner. So those are my lashes, and what I love about these half strips is how natural they look, how easy and quick it is, and that it's also not too heavy. So I really can't feel them. They don't bother me with my contacts throughout the day or feel itchy at all. They just feel like nothing. What I love about all the lashes that I've shown you today is that they're all pretty light, so you can't feel them. I really hate that weighed down feeling that you can get from some really big lashes, and the fact that you're cutting all of these in two means you will mind them even less. Absolutely fabulous for photos. They really open my eyes up, even in the middle. There's that extra length going on and volume, and it really makes your eyes pop, and then you have that nice kind of cat eye effect from using the half strip, as well as all of the comfort from having that lighter lash line on than if you were wearing a much fuller, more dramatic strip. So I hope that you found these tips helpful, and I would say I use each strip maybe a total of 3 times depending on the quality of the lash. Drugstore lashes I probably use more like 2 or 3 times, and a premium lash, if it's good quality, I will tend to use a little bit more, but not a ton more, because ultimately, just for hygiene, I don't tend to actually wash the lashes. I just pick off the glue, and so I wouldn't want to use them too many times. So those are all of my lash secrets. If you have any that I don't know about or haven't mentioned, please leave them in the comments down below, and that way we can all benefit from your wisdom. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!